Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Nine's Wide World of Sports coverage of the first test for 2002 of the international rules games between Australia and Ireland. We'll bring it to you live from Croke Park in a few moments' time. It's an emotional day, a passionate day for the Australians and indeed the Irish as well, who have the chance to host them. Good evening to Brian Taylor.
Good evening, Dermot. I'm really looking forward to the game tonight. A series the Australians have been sensational in their build-up in their practice match so far. They look very, very good, and a tight bunch over there, we believe, and some great camaraderie within the team, especially with the news that of the recent hours. Absolutely. Well, Croke Park, I had the opportunity to go there a couple of years ago. It's a wonderful cauldron. It's a great place to play footy. It is indeed, and they've just reconstructed it, in fact, Dermot. It now seats some 80,000 people. It may look a little bit sparse when we show you the initial pictures, but of course the crowd, very late crowd, similar to Adelaide. They stay in the pubs which are in close proximity to the ground, so look for that, but a magnificent looking pitch. And Eddie Maguire, he is going to be calling the game in a few moments' time. He'll bring you the coverage. We'll be taking the RTE feed. Now, Eddie had the chance to speak with the Australian coach, Gary Lyon, a few moments ago. Here's Eddie and Gary.
Thanks very much, Dermot, and welcome to Croke Park here in Dublin, Ireland. And as you can imagine, with the events that have happened in Bali overnight, there is a pall of gloom over the Australian team, but an air of determination as well to do well for Australia. Really playing for the Guernsey this afternoon in Ireland, I can tell you. And joining me now is Gary Lyon, the coach of the Australian team. And Gary, there is a real feeling. It's not just a matter of an AFL team out here playing for Australia. There is a great feeling that we're representing our country today.
Yeah, there is, Ed. It's been a really sobering time the past 24 hours. We had probably 15 minutes before our team meeting. We got the news. A couple of Melbourne boys obviously involved, and the Kangaroos. So it was a scary time, to be honest, for a couple of hours until we got news that they were right. And we woke up this morning, we thought there were 20 lost, which was bad enough, to 180. I mean, it's been a tragedy. Our boys are feeling it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Now, Gary, today we're going to play a football game. I know there's a lot of people sitting at home in Australia who are waiting for news from Bali, but they're going to be watching this game, and it has taken on special significance.
Oh, it has. We'll wear black armbands, we'll have a minute's silence, and I've mentioned it to the boys, and it's not a bullshit thing. I mean, it's such a real thing, and we've taken it on board, and there's lots of reasons to play for Australia, and there's even a big one now.
Good on you, Gary. Thanks very much for joining us. Good luck for the afternoon. Gary Lyon, the coach of the Australian team. Dermot, I'm going to head upstairs, get ready for what is a very emotional game of football this afternoon as Australia takes on Ireland.
Thanks very much, Eddie. We'll hear from you shortly. Brian, there is the Australian team as they've been named.
Yes, and a few big men missing out. Primus, Treadray and Corns out of the side. That's good news for the Australians because it allows the likes of Judd and Kerr, who have been sensational, Milne and also Nathan Brown have been described by Gary Lyon as naturally suited up forward, so we look forward to that up there and their ability to kick goals.
Also good to see Cameron Ling getting a gig. He'll probably get a run with role like he does with Geelong in his club colours during the season. Here's the Irish team. Now, some of these names are new players, but there's some old ones in there that we recognise from some of the past series. Garrity there, Giles, Joyce. Ty Kennelly, number 13 there. So he'd be familiar to a lot of Australians, especially those, the fans of Sydney. And Seamus Moynihan, a brilliant player, the captain, number 20 there. And Anthony Rainbow, number 25. So,
no Canavan there, Dan.
No, Peter Canavan misses out now. He's deemed somewhat of a veteran, but look, he's in the Craig Bradley mould. He's not quite as old as Braddles, but he even looks older than Craig Bradley. So, yeah, he's been around a while, and Ackermanis isn't playing, so there's no need for Peter Canavan. OK, let's have a look at the head-to-head graphic. Now, this is in Ireland. When Australia tour there, they do pretty well, not so good at home.
Yeah, you have a look at the stats there, Dermot, and when Australia do tour there, they do well. One of the reasons, touted reasons for that is that perhaps the teams stick together. They're in a 24-hour company of each other, whereas the Irish players, when they're playing at home, are at their own homes and all over the country. And it just creates that little bit of camaraderie and togetherness, and that's one of the reasons that perhaps Australia have done so well away from home, and likewise in the opposite.
Yeah, the Irish do pretty well here as well. You see the Australians coming out onto Croke Park. We're not too far away now for the start of the first test here in the international rules. Big David Neitz there, striding out onto the pitch, and it's a wonderful moment for these Australian rules footballers to get the opportunity to play for their country. And look, yeah, today is a day full of passion, isn't it? Because a lot of these boys, the word we're getting back, Brian, is that they are genuinely shaken by Well, it's like a home away from home, Bali, for these guys in the off-season, isn't it?
Well, we heard from Gary Lyon before, and you could just detect, those that know Gary pretty well, the tone in his voice and what it meant to him. And, you know, he would have relayed that onto the players, of course. And when we get some close-up pictures of the players and their facial expressions when the national anthems are played shortly, it'll be very, very interesting.
I've got to say one thing. I noticed Australia line up, they would have the national anthem. In years gone by, the Australians would be wriggling around and they'd be doing their hamstring stretches and that. The Irish put the hand over the heart and sing. On a passionate day, you know, a charge like today, it'll be interesting to see how they go.
Shane Crawford there, the skipper, needs to do well.
And we're just about ready, Brian, for Eddie Maguire to take up the commentary now. And Gene Kenny at Croke Park, here are your commentators for the first test.
And we welcome viewers on the Nine Network on Wide World of Sports to Croke Park in Ireland for what has become not only a big international match between Australia and Ireland, but one of huge emotion for the Australian team. After the tragedy of the bomb in Bali overnight, the Australian team receiving text messages right throughout the day and have really dedicated themselves wearing the black armbands, and the Gaelic Athletic Association have been magnanimous and magnificent in allowing a minute's silence, which will be observed in a few moments' time, for those who have been murdered in such tragic circumstances in Bali overnight. Of course, we are well aware the Australian players receiving text message from a lot of their colleagues on end-of-season trips in Bali. Jer Canning, who's calling the match here in Ireland with me, have been receiving so much from their friends over there, and we're finding out more and more that the situation is getting worse and worse. So the boys, it's not just a game for Australia today, it means so much. And as this ground knows, the tragedy over the years of various circumstances, that these things cut deep to the core of what sport is all about, when you like to see the young men going out and representing themselves in the best possible way. And of course the tragedy overnight just sends a chilling message to us all.
Well, Eddie, everybody in Ireland, I can tell you, can empathise with the appalling, tragic events that have happened in the last 24 hours, and our deepest sympathy to anybody who is touched by it. And I presume almost all Australians have been touched by it in one way, shape or form.
Thank you, Jer, and it has been fantastic, the reception that the entire Australian team has received, particularly today. So many people coming up to us and wishing their condolences and their support, which is wonderful. And it's great. I think these two great countries have had a wonderful association over the years, and the depth of feeling coming back to Australians, as I said, in the last 24 hours has been deeply felt and much gratified.
I suppose most Australians anyway have Irish roots, including yourself, although I thought when I heard the name Eddie Maguire, you must be Lithuanian, maybe?
Something like that, yes. Yes,
don't
indeed.
say yes or no to that, because we have a referendum coming up next week.
We're about to observe the national anthem of Australia, then Ireland, and then there will be a minute's silence for those who perished in Bali overnight.
Expecting about 35 to 40,000 people here at Croke Park. It's a newly constructed stadium for those of you watching on 9. So the public address announcer just saying in Irish, will you stand now please for the two anthems, beginning with the Australian anthem, Advance Australia Fair. Sung with great gusto there by Jack L. and the Artane Boys Band. Now the Irish National Anthem, which is Ara on the Via. Big crowd, big expectation. But now, as Eddie McGuire was just mentioning a little while ago, there's going to be a minute's silence for the tragic victims of that appalling carnage in Bali overnight.
Commodore Cosplay and the Australian Football League request to stand in critical silence in memory of all those who died in last night's atrocity in Bali.
So the minute's silence there for those who perished, as you heard the grand announcer, in the atrocity in Bali last night. And I'm sure Ger, all of Australia thank everybody here for their observation of that minute's silence. And as I said, it is something that has really cast a huge shadow not only over this Australian team but over the whole of Australia. And they're all still coming to grips with it, trying to come to grips with it, as the cold hand of terror has touched our country. And, well, it'll be a spirited fight today for the Australian team. Of course, it pales into insignificance compared to what's happening on the world stage. But the most they can do is actually fly the flag for Australia today against Ireland. It's going to be a wonderful game of football. So for all those in Australia who have had just such a horrible day today, sit back and enjoy and watch 23 young Australians do their best against 23 Irishmen, and may the best team win.
Indeed, indeed. 15 players play on each team for starters. There are 8 interchange players. And I know that back in Australia, where you're used to the idea of 6 lines of 3, this is a little bit different. Any goal counts as 6 points. The officials there making sure that everybody is behind the 45-metre lines. We have 13, 20, 45 and 65-metre lines here in Croke Park and in Irish grounds. It'll be Scott McLaren who will get the 21st ever international match between Ireland and Australia underway. 4 quarters of 20 minutes.
It's only one. Just one.
Matthew Pavlich and David Neitz starting off in the centre for Australia.
And it'll be Scott McLaren who will get it underway. And in case you didn't, I am joined here by Eddie McGuire from Channel 9 in Australia. We're sharing commentary duties here, and it's the Australians playing from left to right in the first half, applying pressure on the Irish goal as early as they possibly can. Spirited counter-attack on that occasion, a bit of holding there.
Play on! Play on! Play on! Play on!
It It was Graham Geraghty who committed the indiscretion, and a little bit of getting to know you earlier on there.
Well, the umpire called play on there, Ger, and straight after the free kick had been given. James Clement, unaware. The usual positioning for Australian rules football, of course, when you get the free kick, you go back and take your kick.
There's been a bit of confusion about this whole business of the advantage rule, as we saw Dara O'Shea kick that ball into the centre here. Good mark was taken there, taken well by Ty Kennelly. Had to spend a lot of the last week in Newry in County Down because of a leg injury. He was receiving treatment all week long. A doubt up to yesterday. He didn't train yesterday, in fact. From the 45-metre line, the man who plays in Australia. Over it goes. And it's a good start by Kennelly. 3 points for the over. You can hear the officials here, both men mic'd up. So we can hear their ruling as the game develops. Bit of pressure back there. It's won back by the Irish once again by Porrick Joyce. Fisted back by Brad Scott.
And Bickley kicks forward now for Australia. Here's a chance for the Australian team. It's picked up in the midfield. Crashing through is Crawford, the Australian captain. He kicks out wide, out to Bruce. Bruce looking for the overlap from Pavlich, decides to go forward. A nice kick forward it is too, and Kerr takes the mark. About 40 metres out directly in front. Daniel Kerr, the West Coast Eagles star, 19 years of age. The Rising Star winner last year in his debut season. Trying to kick around the corner, looking for an over for Australia, and he has it. An over for Australia, so scores level early in this game.
You mentioned West Coast Eagles there, Eddie, and of course one of their former coaches back in the 1986 series was John Todd.
Very much so.
He was interviewed by a friend of mine who died recently, the late Mick Dunn. People will be so familiar with him. And he referred to the Irish on that occasion as wimps. And a little altercation developing once again.
It's a little bit more than a little one over there at the moment. Is getting in amongst it is David Neitz. In the meantime, the umpires called play on, and Australia go forward. A big chance coming up for the Australians. Uze was giving a backhander there as well. It's getting nice and willing out here at Croke Park early on in the game. Big chance for Neitz. A kick across the goal was dangerous by Ireland. Going in hard as Judd. The excitement machine. Over to Kerr, his West Coast teammate. Now Kerr's kick is a high up and under. Neitz gets underneath it. Flies high. Pavlich off the hands of the pack, and Ireland clears.
Ireland clears. It was a dangerous moment, however. And it's hotted up almost immediately. That's Anthony Lynch there. Comes from Ballyvorney in West Cork. First time to play international football. And he's a very, very established footballer. Also a master's degree man. And working now with the family business. You know what they make? Here he is again. They make coffins. I've ordered one for you if you're in trouble. That's it. Oh. It was dropped down rather badly that time. Should have been taken by Ty Kennelly.
Australians have got the numbers though on this occasion. It spills to Judd. Judd gets the handle over the top to Brown. Brown looks forward. Gets told to have a shot at the goal, so he does. Up towards the goal square there. Up goes Neitz. Couldn't quite hold the mark. Falling over at the inopportune moment was Milne. And Ireland have got the numbers out of defence again.
Interesting that Trevor Giles is playing back in defence. He's played there, of course, in his days at university. Coming forward here, storming ahead is Eamon O'Hara of Sligo. Dished off there nicely towards Porrick Joyce. Left-footed player. Nicely in, mark taken, well accepted by Graham Geraghty, the man they're going to have a lot of problems with, I feel. Already Ireland making some switches. By the way, Ger Power, former Kerry footballer, he is the runner. He's just come back from holidays, told me he did a lot of running. Most of it on the golf course, however. That's done nicely. Graham Geraghty then with another 3 for Ireland, and it's 6-3 still in this first quarter.
Kellaway from the goalkeeper brings it out to Scarlett. Scarlett's kick up towards the wing position. Judd with a quick handball on. The Australians are away again. This is Pavlich running through for Australia. Has the 2 bounces. Now he has a flying shot at the goal. A beautiful kick too. And it's another over to Australia. Scores level.
It's a great start to the match. Every attack producing a score. All of them decent overs. Peter Burke from Mayo played at a 1997 All-Ireland final. Handled with some difficulty by Bergen. Comes back again. Once again taken up by Anthony Lynch. They move forward here with Dara O'Shea of Kerry. Such a mobile midfield player. Moynihan's playing out in the centre as well today. This is Graham Canty. Dragged down, told to play on, he does. Evan Kelly, a lot to be expected of him. Good tackle coming in, and the Australians win it back in their own 20-metre line.
Scott to James Clement, and the ball over the touchline.
This will be put back in here by Joe Bergen.
Wait for the call, Rosie.
Young player. Has won an All-Ireland medal already. Simple, effective football. Kieran McManus about to kick around the corner here. He's done well. That's an excellent kick. Beautifully put over by McManus from off-link. Engineered the goal out in Melbourne in 1999. Towards the very end of that match, he was fouled, and a goal resulted.
Australia make the first interchange as Judd comes off for Bradley. In the meantime, it's Uze, the Melbourne midfielder, who kicks up towards the forward line. The ball dipped there, Milne unable to get to the front. And Ireland will clear again, this time through Gerard Sullivan.
It's Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Father won an All-Ireland medal with Cork back in 1973. Taken ahead nicely here, belted forward. Australia in with the challenge immediately. The Irish trying to take command of the situation, and here he comes, Craig Bradley. 39 next week, as we heard earlier on, towards Brad Scott. Aussies looking for another score.
Scott looks up, Neitz is the man, he fell over at the wrong moment, a chance for a six-pointer for Australia, but it's beautifully saved there by Burke, as Neitz tried to... Bradley comes in, high floater looking for Neitz, who got to the front, couldn't hold the chest mark. Slipped away, and an opportunity maybe for a six-pointer for Australia goes begging.
Trevor Giles getting support from Dara O'Shea. Dara who will run and run all day. Stopped by Bradley, didn't release the ball, it's a free in. Craig Bradley belting it in, dangerous one. In towards Brown. Spills loose once again. Opportunities. Peter Burke this time, taking it back. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. It's from Addergoal in West Cork. Kieran McGeeney, All-Ireland winning captain with Armagh just a little while ago, 3 weeks ago, as the Irish bear in on goal, look for the sixth, and they may get it, but it's a great stop by Andrew Kellaway. Graham Geraghty had the chance. Opportunities still presenting themselves. The scoring choice whips it in, and it's gone for one. In fact, it's got to be a 45. Went just outside. Doesn't really happen very often in this particular game, but that's the save by Kellaway, showing he is so adept at playing in what is a very unusual position for him.
You take the kick.
Well, it was clearly a point.
He's taking it, he's taking it, he's taking it.
I thought it was a point.
It was clearly a point.
Reynolds 45, mate, 45. Stay out. Here's the mark, all right?
So, a mistake there. 2 goal umpires. Australia will take it, though. So, point disallowed, but a over comes from the free kick anyway. And 3 points go the way of Ireland.
Dara O'Shea has got the 3 points. But realistically, that should have been just one from that last offence. Bradley stepping out of the way of the challenge, nicely taken down and slung to the ground, and it's going to be a free in.
20 metre.
And that's Daniel Kerr there, who plays for the West Coast Eagles.
That's the rule. Here's the mark, here's the spot. Oh, it's got. Here's the spot. There it is, I marked it for you.
Kerr comes in. Australia need the 3, the over. Only 1 point.
Okay.
So Daniel Kerr scored 4 points now, 1 over. And one behind from the kick out. They have a chance now for Australia through Adam Simpson, the Kangaroo star.
Simpson driving it in. Nice mark, well taken. So a real scoring opportunity presenting itself now to Australia.
Stephen Milne. He's a wonderful kick, this young player, Jerp. Real dead eye.
Well, just as you say it, it's the commentator's curse, I think.
Exactly, wrapped him up.
Always happens. Seamus Moynihan. Nicely controlled and held there by Anthony Rainbow.
Come on!
So 5 between them. Giles belting it down, tackled late. You can tackle from the shoulders to the waist as this ball reaches the man who is playing full back, essentially, Matthew Scarlett. Giles again has shown himself to be very confident at this particular game.
Simpson went in very hard with the shoulder, but Ireland have got the scoring opportunity.
McGeaney sending it down forward there, and Desi Dolan is into the match from Westmeath. Played and scored, I think, 4 points in the match at Melbourne about 3 years back. Didn't play in the second test. He started well here. It gets a red flag, which equals an over, and it's 3 points in all for Desi Dolan.
Kellaway brings the ball out for Australia. It's taken by Simpson. This is where Australia's falling down. They're just bombing it up to the 45. Ling on the ground, couldn't quite hold the mark. Ireland again get the ball away. Giles's handball was a little bit too strong on that occasion for Lynch. The Aussies will take it at the 45. Daniel Kerr, the West Coast Eagles player, has Neitz on it full forward. Decides to go over the top to Brown. Nathan Brown, a left footer.
He's a good player, Nathan Brown. Very much one of the potent attacking forces in this Australian team. So going round the corner, looking for 3. And it's crawled inside the right-hand post. He's got his 3 points. It was a very good kick. So Australia narrow it 15 points to 10.
Australia get it away. Montgomery now to the midfield. Simpson will be run down from behind. Gets his kick off the side of the boot. It's loose though. Chance for Neitz if he can trap the ball. He can't. And it's over and out. Ireland take the ball from fullback.
One of the things which Ireland has been doing is keeping a spare football behind the goal, so when it goes wide like that, they have another one back into play instantly. This time they get it out instantly as far as Ray Cosgrove. 6 goals in this year's championship for Dublin. Here's a goal chance. Sopa Kellaway again, and it's gone over for 1. That was a glorious chance. Dara O'Shea was the one who was breezing in on goal, and Kellaway has made another very fine save indeed. Fed ahead beautifully here. O'Shea should have finished. Kellaway stopped and goes just outside.
Kellaway's been magnificent for Australia so far. Certainly a 6-point chance there for Ireland. Great play by Johnson. It's over. It'll be an Irish ball. Dara O'Shea, equal top scorer so far with 4 points with Daniel Kerr of Australia.
His brother Tremors is also in the panel, and another brother, Mark, has played in the All-Ireland final. And to add to all of that, their uncle Paddy, one of the great footballers in this country, is the manager of the Kerry team. They were beaten in this year's All-Ireland final. I hate to mention defeats in final.
Yeah, thanks, don't bring that up, just at the moment. A kick from Tyson Edwards. Straight over the line and out of bounds, and Ireland get the ball again. About 55 metres from the goal. Ger O'Sullivan.
Brendan Ger just driving it in. Again, possibilities. And this time Kellaway just a little bit unsure of himself, I think, in terms of catching it. Saw a couple of forwards coming through. And there's still an opening. There's still a possibility. Desi Dolan kicking. And Desi Dolan scoring 3. That's 2 kicks at the target now, and he's got 6 points. Good return. Playing in the half-forward line insofar as you can say that anybody is playing in any particular position, because it's such a fluid, such a mobile game.
19 to 10. Ireland lead Australia at the moment as the ball goes forward. Here's Adam Uze. No, it's Milne who's got it now. The stepper goes to ground, tries to keep the ball in play. But he's run it over the line. It'll be an Irish ball, and they take it quickly, and they get it away now. Up to Jero Sullivan, who's been dominant up the left wing.
Brendan Jer kicking it way down inside the left corner, left pocket, I suppose you guys would call it in Australia. And an attempt there to beat Scarlett, but he wasn't outfoxed by that particular move. Matthew Scarlett dragged down, good tackle. It's foreign to the Gaelic footballers, the particular tackle and challenge that is allowed. That's gone out for a 45. It was carried out by one of the Australian defenders, so it's going to be a free kick.
And Mark Bickley under pressure, so the ball comes back to the 45.
Kieran McManus is the man who is being entrusted with the kick. So this man from the Midlands, from Offaly. Huge kick in. Can they transfer it into something? It runs behind and they get one. Little clumsy. They all count. And Ireland just maintained their lead. It was Joe Bergen.
You can't kick it! You can't kick!
The voices you're listening to are the two umpires or referees in charge here. Once again, taking it forward, McManus. And the umpire goes for a white flag on this occasion. He gets just 1 point. It's a behind. And a real useful chance in other circumstances to have tagged on 3.
So Australia now through Angelo Leckers. Bring it up to a half forward. Ling needed to take it on the bounce. He couldn't. It spills off and it'll be an Irish ball. Australia falling down across the half-forward line, as we use it in the Australian vernacular here, Ger. They're getting enough of it in the midfield, but just not translating at the moment. Here's a chance, though. Judd put enough pressure on it, spills to Edwards, out to Ling. Ling looks forward, tries to chip it around the body and does to Leckers. Angelo Leckers now has Ling on the overlap. Ling on the left boot. Squares it up, looking for Neats. Up he flies. Front and square, though. Ireland have got all the numbers at ground level. Moynihan's handball was a beauty. It's released his teammate, and Lynch now through the midfield.
Yes, Anthony Lynch belting it away down. And Ireland maintain this pressure. McManus once again, the number 18 here on this Irish team. Going across here is Derek Savage, just into the match. Good, tough challenge there. And that's going to be a sideline ball which will favour Australia.
Yes, good defence there from Mark Bickley. Very hard-at-it player. Two-time premiership captain of the Adelaide Crows. Handballs to James Clement. Clement, a booming kick up towards an half-forward. Beautiful mark there, getting back. But the flight of the ball was McGeeney.
Excellent work by Kieran McGeeney. He was at the dentist yesterday getting a filling and missed training accordingly. But he's a very fit man, and he's been having to carry the Sam Maguire Cup all around Armagh in the last 3 weeks as Armagh have been celebrating their All-Ireland victory. Kellaway making a good save, good mark as well. So an opportunity now to restart and launch something for Australia. Very little time to go at the end of the opening quarter.
Irish defence have been fantastic so far, Ger. Australia have been unable to create any loose man at all. This is why Kellaway is coming a long way out of his goals. In the end, he just has to thump along and hope for the best.
And that is the siren for the end of the opening quarter. There are 11 points between the teams. At the end of first quarter, it's Ireland 21, Australia are 10.
Welcome back to the first international rules test of 2002 between Australia and Ireland. An Ireland lead at home at Croke Park. 6 overs, 3 behinds, 21 points to Australia's 3 overs, 1 behind, 10 points. Brian Taylor.
Yes, they kick it extremely well, the Irish, and that has been the difference in this first quarter along. You see Gary Lyon, the Australian coach, laying down the law there to his players. He wasn't happy with the first quarter, nor should he be, because, Dermot, they didn't get much of the ball through the midfield. Their field kicking was ordinary, and their goal kicking was nowhere near as good as the opposition's.
I actually thought their back line held together all right, and Callaway was fantastic down back as well, made a couple of good saves. What the midfield need to do is press back to them, work back to them, get the ball, and then run it up, Brian, and share it around to each other and run the ball through the midfield. That didn't really happen.
Yeah, they definitely need to get more players involved through that midfield, Dermot, and get players into the side. Judd came off in the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game. That's not a good sign, because he's been a star for us.
And let's hope he can do the same again in the second quarter. They're ready for us back at Croke Park with Eddie Maguire.
Yes, you're very welcome back here to Croke Park. Notice that Ty Kennelly has been suffering from that leg injury. It was an oxygen cubicle for the last week or so, trying to get a full recovery. It obviously hasn't worked, and he is now off the Irish team. He's a big loss. He's been making a name for himself out in Sydney. As the siren goes for the start of the third quarter, it's 21 points to 10. The second quarter, I should say. 21 points to 10.
Simpson gets the first break for Australia to Judd, who handballs back to Clement, who fumbles the ball. Blind turns out of the way, though, nicely. Back to Simpson on the overlap for Australia. Running through is Cameron Bruce from inside 45. Here's a flying shot towards the goals, but it's through for one behind.
Just 1 point then resulting from that Cameron Bruce shot. Cameron, who plays for Melbourne, which of course is a hotbed of Australian rules football. At one stage it was the VFL. This to be kicked in by Graham Geraghty. Irish goalkeeper Peter Burke. Good work by Matthew Scarlett, dragged down, however. Putting in the challenges there for Ireland was Ray Cosgrove, the Dublin footballer.
Johnson through the midfield for Australia now with the white boots. He kicks up towards Neitz, who gets a hand on the ball. Was good play. The Australian forwards have a real go now, but Ireland have got the numbers again and clear. They're doing it well, Jeff.
They're doing very well. Anthony Lynch was the one who got that one away out of the danger zone. And now a chance to be expressive and see if they can come up with something really special. And Porrick Joyce, inevitably, playing up front there for Ireland. He'll hit it with his left boot just outside the 20-metre line. Scott McLaren giving him the indication. Scott, one of the umpires. That's a very fine kick indeed. 3 points. Not the easiest of kick for a left-footed kicker from that particular angle, but he's doing very well. Just look at the bunching in front of the kick out here by the goalkeeper.
So Callaway holds the ball up. The huddle was on. In the end, they've got the numbers out wide, Australia. As Judd takes the mark, he gets the handball quickly away to Scott. The Brisbane Lions kick touched off the boot over the line. It's an Australian ball.
That is not something we would be terribly familiar with. There's Papa Ganini, who was the umpire last time around. Former All-Ireland final referee as well, where you guys tend to huddle just in front of your kick out and then break very quickly. But the Irish have copped on, and they're in there doing a marking job.
So the ball from Scott was a shocker off the side of the boot, and Ireland will get the free kick.
McManus is making a run across from this line. Ball doesn't reach him inside towards Geraghty, but it's taken instead there by Desi Dolan. Desi 45 metres out from the Australian goal. Opting to go short, it bounces, no mark taken, nothing claimed. One back instead by Adam Simpson of Australia. Now it's Matthew Scarlett. Good mark by Brad Scott from the Brisbane Lions, winners of the grand final.
To his teammate in Johnson, who kept going well, and Johnson had it. He was intercepted by Kerr, but Johnson was away. Kerr applies the tackle. Another muck-up by the Australian midfielders allows Ireland to go forward again. This time it's Joyce over the top. A scoring opportunity coming up for Ireland. Good tackling by the Australians. They've got the number. Kerr over the top to Johnson. They owe it, and they do it beautifully. Kerr breaks the lines, gets his kick forward. Out comes Brown for Australia. Takes it on the hop. Handballs out wide to Uze, the Melbourne left footer. Looks up, looks for his Australian captain. Up towards, and a free kick is against Australia. It'll go against Neitz, and the free kick will go to Canty.
Yeah, Graham Canty playing full back. He can play full back, centre back or midfield for his native county of Cork. And he's a very talented young man. He was the winner of the July Cork GA Sports Personality of the Month.
David Nietzsche just took care of Paul McGrain. It was a fair hip and shoulder in Australian parlance, but has cleaned Paul McGrain right up.
And Paul McGrain's a very fine footballer who's been in a lot of football lately. He played in the All-Ireland final with Armagh.
Nietzsche has been sent off here for 15 minutes. You could hear that from the referees. And Nietzsche, as you can see with the pained expression on his face, doesn't know what he's done wrong, because that is a fair hit in Australian rules football.
Part of the confusion in this particular game, and Luke Darcy has come in to replace Nietzsche. Trevor Giles will take the free kick. And that's Paul McGrain then, in need of the attention. Let's hope he can come back very, very quickly indeed. Dr. Con Murphy there attending to him. There's a blood injury, as you could see as well. Ireland being told to play on.
And Australia now starting to apply the pressure. They had a stinging rebuke from Gary Lyon, their coach, at the quarter-time break. And it'll be an Australian ball. James Clement. Thumping kick up to Simpson. He'll have to fly against two and does it well. Hitting the pack front and square is Craig Bradley. The Carlton champion over the top to Pavlich. Pavlich twisting and turning. Kicks long now up towards the goals. It'll be offline and through for just one behind.
Well, they've so many attacks, but they're only producing these one-pointers, the behinds as we call them in the game, as Cormac McAnallen plays for Tyrone, played in the series in the last couple of years. So he knows what it's all about. Chris Johnson, the Brisbane Lions player, refusing to yield an inch there. And it's going to be Desi Dolan who will take this. Desi from Westmeath. Lots and lots of hope over the last number of years that they might well be one of the emerging teams in Gaelic football. As Scarlett gets it back. It needs Kellaway to come and drive it clear way downfield. Missed by everybody. There's a push.
Free kick will go to Milne of Australia. Just a nudge under the ball. So Milne has it. Bradley's on for him. Decides to go longer still. Kerr comes forward for Australia. The kick from Giles is over the line. It's an Australian ball inside the 45. Adamuze. Off one step. Pavlich is the man for Australia. Brown now a chance. Will come back onto the left boot. He was grabbed. Kerr, the umpire, actually got in the way. And it'll be an Australian free kick to Nathan Brown. And as Joe mentioned, Australia with all the attacking moves at the moment, but need to get some score. Trailing by 12 points. Brown comes in, he curves it high over the bar. It's a three-pointer for Australia. A badly needed one, and Nathan Brown delivers for the Aussies.
Nathan Brown needed that one. Certainly the Australians needed to try and just peg back the lead. There's a long way to go. It could be a very exciting match as Declan Meehan hits it inside here, reaches Desi Dolan. Desi's been influential, leads it for Brendan O'Sullivan. Listen to the cheers of the crowd. He's got a pointer and over. Anytime he's been on, he's been influential. Brad Scott now for Australia, attacking the goal away to our left. Little or no breeze around. The rain has eased. Here's a chance.
Back to a 12-point lead to Ireland. Darcy was up high. Here's a chance for Uze. Has a flying shot and hit the crossbar. Hit the crossbar. 3 points. Almost a six-pointer required for Australia.
The nearest we have been to a goal in this match so far. Kellaway did make a couple of saves earlier on, but that really was a great chance.
And Australia's starting to wake up from Kellaway from the free kicks from the goalkeepers now, Jer, and playing on immediately. In the Australian game, of course, you have to take some time. And in fact, the Australians were told that would be the case in this game. But as has been the case quite often, the rule's not quite coming to fruition on the day. As Scott goes forward again for Australia, the Irishman drops his head, but Australia unable to capitalise.
Tomas O'Shea getting it away, out into the centre of the field. Scarlett coming to meet it, belting it back down. Australia have it back through Adamuze. And here's Uze once again. He's 65 metres out from goal, and there's a chance here. Good defending, nice mark, well taken indeed.
Yeah, bad kick from Uze there. Milne had dropped around the back, wanted the ball high over the top so he could run at the goals, and it didn't come his way. Here's a chance. Australia's tackling has really improved in this second quarter. Ireland now.
It's had to be decisive.
Through McManus. Under pressure. Picks it up now. Concedes some ground.
But there's an opportunity, and Scarlett drags his immediate opponent to the ground there. Ray Cosgrove, the Dublin footballer, the man who really can get goals. He's been doing it time and again all through this summer season in the Irish Championship. Dublin went close this year, but not quite close enough. But they're an emerging team. He was the top scorer in the Irish Championship, and he has kicked this one high, accurately, between the posts. It's an over, and it counts as 3 points. Good work by the Irish, number 6. And again, just in front of Kellaway there, there's a little bit of bunching, and the Australians will quickly break.
So back out to a 12-point lead, Ireland. The kick, a good one for Cameron Bruce. Now Australia starting to run, fanning out across the ground. They get the handball working out wide to Scott. Scott, the Brisbane line, comes in, kicks into the centre corridor. Pavlich put a hand out, couldn't quite hold the ball. Now the tackle's on. Australia throwing themselves in, but Ireland equal to the task. It comes out wide to McManus. McManus kicks forward. Here's a chance. Scarlett, the hope of the side for Australia. Beautiful take there as the handball comes out wide to Joyce. Joyce is caught, unable to get the ball away.
Took too long about it, and it results
Ball up here
in a throw ball.
And no opportunity, prior opportunity to get it away. So the Australian umpire, Scott McLaren, throws it up.
One back there by Angelo Lecas. But Ireland come forward again. Desi Dolan's kick is angling away from goal. Kellaway touches it, can't contain it, and he's put it out over his own end line. It's a 45-metre free. For our Channel 9 viewers, when a defender puts the ball out over his own end line, it results in a 45 metres kick.
I don't think Andrew Kellaway was convinced that he'd actually touched it inside the line, and to be honest, I don't think Scott McLaren was that convinced either, but the local official won the day, and Ireland get the kick from 45.
Are you saying it was a local decision?
I'm absolutely saying it was a local decision.
Porrick Joyce kicks it for 3, and he's now got 6 points in this match.
Danger period here for Australia. 33-18. Ireland leads by 15. Australia having enough possession through the midfield, but not getting enough up forward. The kick from Kellaway was a dangerous one, and Ireland have got the numbers again.
Yeah, McManus dishing it off here towards Porrick Joyce, going for another 3. Usually a very accurate kicker, and he has put it behind for just 1.
So Australia quickly play on now as Bickley kicks to Crawford, who can't control the ball. It's going to be an Irish ball. And the Australian midfielders, Judd, Crawford and Bruce, need to get a move on here. Great tackling from Australia. They've got the numbers on this occasion. Picked up by Scarlett. He gets it over to Scott. Scott sees Bickley at the corner of his eye. Floats it up to him, he takes the mark. Handballs onto James Clement. Clement now running with the ball. Gives a good kick forward. Lovely kick up to Brown, who takes it on the half volley. Overrunning the ball was Franco. Bad mistake, and Ireland might make them pay. The ball spills out wide down to Gerard Sullivan.
Brendan Gerald Sullivan playing it inside here. And another opportunity presenting itself to Desi Dolan. Comes back down. And let off for Australia on that occasion. Australia trailing by 34 points to 18.
Crawford, the Australian skipper, kicks up the line. Brown has got the pace. Now he's got the ball. What can he do with it? With his right foot, he just tries to bring it in. Ireland again, just supporting each other beautifully out there as the ball comes into Graham Canty. Canty will be run down from behind by Curry. Just gets his kick away. It was a good-looking kick as well. The mark has been taken under pressure there by Gerard Sullivan, who has been one of the dominant players on the ground so far.
Yes, he's a very lively, effervescent type of player. always gives of his very best, never lets the side down, as that ball is kicked in there towards Kieran McManus under a lot of pressure. There were 2 or 3 Australians alongside him at the time, but the referee, Scott McLaren, has decided that it's going to be an Irish ball. A winded Kieran McManus. This is what happened just a few minutes ago here. Did he touch it just before the ball was in play or out of play? That was the question, I think, in Eddie Maguire's mind. So McManus to kick this one. I bet they'll be glad to have a breather. Brian White is going to do the talking, and he's having a little word there with Graham Canty, and also Luke Darcy is the number 14. So McManus winding himself up to kick this one. As he got it on target, it's just one. A white flag indicating a behind for Kieran McManus.
It's 5 points to McManus now so far. The ball comes out to Montgomery, Australia. They have to start applying a bit of scoreboard pressure here. Free kick to Johnson.
Foul committed by Tomas O'Shea. So this to be taken in by Chris Johnson from the Brisbane Lions.
Johnson decides to drive it long. It was a shocking kick up the side of the boot. Crawford first there, keeps it in play, does it nicely. Chance now for Judd, whose kick is through for 1 point. So Australia missing another opportunity. But at least it stops a major run of scoring for the Irish team. It's 35-19, Ireland in front of Australia by 16 points, intercepted by Adam Uze. And Australia must get at least 3 points from this foray forward.
It wasn't the best of kickouts by Peter Burke, easily anticipated. And so an opportunity now for Adam Uze of Melbourne.
Inside the last 5 minutes of this quarter, Uze's kick is a shocker.
Really, that's desperate misuse of possession. Are the Australians still having major difficulty with the round ball?
Yes, they are. There's no doubt. You can see there Adam Uze trying to get the curve on the ball, but they just haven't played enough with it. They should be playing it a bit more through the season. In the meantime, here's an opportunity for Johnson, who intercepts, to Brown, who is a beautiful kick. Can he get onto his left boot? He runs forward, has a shot with the right boot, but it's cut off by Burke on the last line of defence.
Out as far as Bergen this time. Big Joe Bergen, having plenty of support and assistance there. As ever, Seamus Moynihan is around, and also back there, Evan Kelly.
Free kick to Franco for too high, and it's on here. Josh Franco getting right amongst it with Kelly, and this is on now. Luke Darcy comes in high with one, and ugly scenes at Croke Park.
I think we need to get our boxing commentator in here fairly quickly. This really isn't on. Okay, the fans half expected. Nobody got injured, thankfully. A bit of wrestling.
Yeah. There was a high tackle on Franco. Australia will get the free kick. You can hear the umpires there. The Australian umpire saying, well, if you saw something, send him off. The Irish referee.
It's a yellow card there for Evan Kelly of Meath. Meath were one of the first teams to play against Australian opposition. This was it, hotting up beautifully here. Josh Franco in there. Look at the next one.
They just showed it on the replay here, and I tell you what, if Kelly had it connected, that Franco's head would have landed in Australia. In the meantime, Brown takes the kick and misses everything again, and Australia squandering opportunities, but there's no doubt the blood will be pumping now. Because the first blow was thrown by the Irishman.
That's 4 wide now by Australia. They really need to convert a far greater share of their scoring opportunities. Pressure back here. And Ireland drive forward here through Joe Bergen. Nicely inside. Derek Savage, his fellow Galway man, having got that pass from Bergen, has the scoring opportunity here. Now, can he put another 3 over and make it 38 points for Ireland? He's usually a deadly scorer. He's got his 3. His first score of the match. Ireland using their bench very well. Australia getting it out here as far as Adam Simpson. Well, this is the man who has tormented Australia in the past, Seamus Moynihan.
Australia with the numbers now as Kerr kicks the ball forward. Johnson's there as well. He'll take it from Uze. Away goes Johnson on to Darcy. Darcy handballs back, setting up Josh Franco, who almost had his head taken off a couple of moments ago. Out wide to Tyson Edwards. Edwards bombs it long. Chance for Australia. Good defensive punch there from Ty Kenley. And it'll be Australian 45.
Yeah, Ty Kenley back on the field once again here. Just look at this one more time. Little fist to that, deflecting it away from the outside post. It's a 45 this time to Australia. Nathan Brown shaping up like he'll be the one who will kick this.
Inside the last 10 seconds of the quarter, Australia need a mark here. They're not going to get it. And it's been a great quarter for the Irish. They led by 11 points at quarter time, now lead by 19 points at half time, and it's Ireland 38, Australia 19, but there is plenty of life left in this game at Croke Park in Ireland.
Welcome back to the first test in the international rules series between Australia and the home team, Ireland, at Croke Park. Ireland, 11 overs, 5 behind, 16 scoring shots there to Australia, 5 overs, 4 behinds. Brian, only the 9 scoring shots, but they had plenty of opportunities.
Indeed they did, and Des Dolan was exceptional as well in that half of football, but the Aussies, they just, their foot skills let them down again, and we see the run of the Irish through the midfield here. That's been the difference between the two sides. The Australians, although were able to just get it together a little bit in that second quarter, that was certainly missing for the majority of the half so far.
Really showed out that the Irish are accurate, probably an extra 15 to 20 metres further by foot than their Australian counterparts. They can spot it up over 40 metres.
Their overs have been exciting, have they?
Absolutely. Andy Kellaway's been invaluable as well. He cops one in the breadbasket here. It was almost a certain 6-pointer there. I think he might have even got it lower than the breadbasket. That's got to hurt.
Well, he saved 2 of those, and he has been the difference between Australia hanging in this game or losing the game early in the first half here. We see Joyce and over here in the good movement, good ball movement from the Irish. Once again, they are very quick players when they get it forward through that midfield as well. And anywhere within range, Dermot, as you mentioned, the over bar, it's always over for 3 points.
A bump by David Neitz. Yeah, both feet are on the ground. The rules in the international series say that is fair. I think the umpire got a bit over-anxious.
Have a look at this here, Dermot. Uze hits the over bar. Could have so easily been the only goal of the game so far.
And we had a good old-fashioned dust-up before half-time.
Well, Josh Franco getting pulled out of the action there, and you see number 12 jump on top of him. He got ejected off the ground for a few minutes, but I tell you what, Josh Franco wasn't shy in coming forth with the odd haymaker from way back.
Absolutely, and it was on for young and old. There's a lot of hair pulling and shoving into the turf.
The Australian umpire there in the middle, he just stands and watches, but the 2 Irish umpires, they get in there and tangle it up.
Absolutely. Very tactile, the Irish referees. They get amongst there, they try and separate them. The Australians sit back. As we know, the Australian rules have always said you don't touch the umpire and he won't touch you. But the Australians really have to start scoring when they get the ball forward. I thought, Brian, that they actually got into a scoring zone about 30-odd metres from goal. Enough times to be thereabouts with the Irish, but they just couldn't hit the ball over the right bar.
Their 2 best scorers, Brown and Milne, really haven't seen enough of the ball to be able to show that. Brown has shown some skill when he gets it near goal. He is able to kick it. David Neitz really hasn't been involved up forward either, so he was sent off during that second quarter, of course, as well. But they just are not getting it to the right players upfield to kick the overs for them.
Absolutely. Well, the game is at Croke Park, and as you've seen, it is a pretty imposing place. It is a cauldron that holds about 80,000 people. One of Europe's biggest stadiums, and it holds a pretty special place in the hearts of all Irishmen. It is the home of the Gaelic Athletic Association, so they love their sport there. But as Jamie Aldrich has already found out this week, Dublin, it's got more to it than just sport.
You know, it almost breaks my heart when I think of George B.
It's one of the world's great cities, with a rich history and character all of its own. This is the bustle of Grafton Street, not far from the River Liffey that separates Dublin's north and south, and a magnet called Temple Bar that draws visitors from around the globe for a pint or three, a blend of old and new that, like Melbourne, can change moods from one moment to the next. For Australia's first visit to Croke Park, they were welcomed by a downpour even the Irish were surprised by, after a week of bonding and getting ready to step onto the international stage.
Yeah, people keep saying the travelling side has some sort of advantage. Well, from the point of view that you get them together over, 5 or 6 days now, it's been a terrific advantage for us. And yeah, they're a good group. They get on well.
And I think you always find most guys are great blokes. So it's been a really good chance to to catch up with guys from other clubs, and we've had a great few days, and I'm sure we had a lot of fun over the 2 weeks.
You don't travel 24 hours in a plane to come away with a loss. We want to come away with a trophy and come away with a win.
For one bloke, being bestowed with the captaincy is one of the ultimate honours.
When they told me, I was wrapped with, but the more that I look at it, you're representing Australia, which is the best country in the world. So I'm very lucky to be in the position I'm in. And
we know the MCG is a special place for us, but Croke Park's very important to the Irish for very different reasons. Back in 1920, a British force formed to combat the IRA during Ireland's War of Independence, shot and killed more than a dozen people during a game between Dublin and Tipperary. One of those, a Tipperary player named Michael Hogan. That was the original Bloody Sunday, and one of the stands was named in memory of Hogan. No British sports can be played here, and as witnessed when Armagh beat Kerry for its first All-Ireland title a few weeks ago, it generates a fierce and genuine passion in the stands, and also for the players, who don't get a cent for their efforts, lining up each week solely for the love of their county.
So it's a great honour. You're presenting your family and your neighbours and the people that live within the county, and there's no such thing as transferring from county. Well, it might happen the odd time if you had to move to Dublin or something like that, but it's a great honour to represent your county.
Yeah, it's a terrific ground. We're playing against a country that do take great pride in representing their people, and their supporters get behind them. That's a great thing, and we'd like to think ours would as well.
It's grand to go out and play for your country, but you must also go out and perform, and we know the next day if we are to do anything, we'll have to play out of our skins to beat Australia.
And there we have the beautiful town of Dublin. The Australians 19 points in arrear, Brian. And just quickly before we go to the break, what do they need to do second half?
Well, they need to get some midfield run, and they need to get some goal-kicking power up there, and they need to get it to the two guys that have ripped them apart in the lead-up games, and that's Stephen Milne, of course, and Nathan Brown. If they get it in the hands of those two, Australia are a chance. Remember, 1 under, and the Australians are back in this.
Absolutely. 19 points in arrears at half-time. We'll be back after the break, where Jer Canning and Eddie Maguire will resume. Welcome back to Ireland v Australia in the International Rules Series. Test 1 at Croke Park there, Brian. And they're 19 points in arrear, and we made some observations during the break there. They do drop the head occasionally, the Irish, but, gee, they make up for it with their skills.
They do. They're not really strong over the ball, surprisingly enough, because if you meet them in the pub, they'd be strong over the ball, I can assure you of that. But out on the ground, they're not like the Aussies, yet they still have the great skill and finesse to get themselves around the park. And it just shows you that skill in this game will go ahead of the little bit of brutality that the Australians have.
Absolutely. You made a great point there. Like when we played them a couple of years ago, you saw the Irish guys, when it got a bit willing out on the ground, you thought, oh, they're backing off.
Yeah.
But the same guy in the aftermatch, if you accidentally insulted him verbally, he'd take you on for your life.
The old Henry Kissinger.
And it was an amazing situation with these guys. The difference in personalities, whether on the pitch or off.
Great control on the pitch.
White line, what do you call it? The reverse of white line fever almost. But, gee, they use the the ball so well, the Irish guys, and they've really done it in the first half once again. Australia really do need to get some link running. You made mention of some of the skills they need to adapt. They just need to find another avenue. Brown is probably the only avenue to goal at the moment that the Australians have. He's had a couple of shots at goal. He's missed a couple as well. They need to find another live one. Maybe if Milne can start finding it.
Milne hasn't found much of the ball. Daniel Kerr could find a bit of the ball, and Chris Judd hasn't had much of it. Now, all of these players have been playing really well in the lead-up and training extra well. Need one of those players to get it happening up forward for us, to score multiple points.
And the back six for Australia haven't had much of a rest, and you do need a lot of run out of your back six. Let's hope they can find a little bit of respite along the line before they make a charge halfway through the third quarter.
Matthew Scarlett looks not quite suited to the game. He's doing a reasonable job, but he just looks a little jittery. But what do you think?
He's tending to fall over a bit too much. I'm wondering whether he's packed the right boots, Matty Scarlett, but we know him as the excellent player he has been with Geelong. He'll go to it. He'll go to it all right. Whether he's able to stand up in this game at the moment.
Will the Aussies come out sort of to rough him up again, or do you think they'll try and get on with the skill activity?
Well, I tend to think there's two ways to tackle in this game. You tackle to contain, or you tackle to hurt them, and that's hurt them within the rules. You know, a crushing tackle between the shoulders and the waist, and you can actually tackle an Irish bloke in this game fairly, like that, and get them to stand off a little bit the next time they go for it.
How did I know you were going to suggest that sort of play?
Well, they did get a bit willing before half-time there. There's the Australian guys. They're making their way back out onto the ground. Look, the work's cut out ahead of them at the moment. They're 19 points down. And you see them now, Nathan Brown leading the charge there.
They tried Darcy, one of their tools, that didn't really work for them, did it?
Not really. They'll have to try another avenue there, I think. But let's go back to Jerry Canning and Eddie Maguire at Croke Park.
Which is big. They were hoping for around 40, and they made it just a little bit more than that. Now, Eddie from Channel 9, you were asking what the Dipper was saying. He rang me there at half-time, and he said, can he win the million in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Exactly. Well, there's hopefully more chance of Australia winning this game than Dipper ever winning $1 million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But, well, the job, as the boys said in Ireland at half-time here, is right in front of the Australian team. They have to lift. I think they have to get more numbers around the ball and run with it, but also they are far too predictable in bringing the ball in. It is just run the ball down and then hoik it up to the penalty area. And the Irish are getting the numbers back and then running it forward. Australia must change. They must get the ball through the midfield a lot quicker, get the kicking forward. I think their kicking into the forward line has been so ordinary. There's been hardly a mark taken inside the 45 by Australia, and unless Australia start to lift in those areas, then it's going to be a long afternoon for the Aussies. However, this team is very committed. It is, of course, a margin at the moment of 38-19, so Ireland have doubled the Australian score, but it's not beyond this Australian team, and I expect them to get stuck right in here now with David Neitz in the ruck and Josh Franco underneath him.
A siren for the commencement of the third quarter. Belted forward there by Kieran McGeeney. Didn't go an awful distance, and the Australians have put it out over the sideline. There was nothing whatsoever that Adam Uze could do to retain it. Jamal O'Shea about to fire this one back in, playing it simply on towards Darrow. O'Shea didn't go the requisite distance to constitute a mark, so the officials were saying play on. Kieran McGeeney, or not Kieran McGeeney, Kieran McManus I should say, does so.
Simpson gets the handball going. Australia have to do something with an early foray forward, and Bruce kicks it long up towards Uze. Couldn't hold the mark. Gets the handball out to Johnson. Around the body he goes, but he's offline and through for just 1 point.
Well, that's a shame. Chris Johnson there had the chance to at least get 3. It's a match so far where we haven't seen an awful lot of the familiar high catching that we associate with Australian rules footballers.
Yeah, the kicking's been so ordinary going in. It's dipping, so no one's been able to set themselves to take the mark. They've got a chance now. Johnson's moved from what we call the back pocket, the last line of defence, up forward. Pavlich now is the key focal marking player for Australia. But once again, Ireland spoiling the ball beautifully and running it out.
Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. It spills away there from Desi Dolan, and the Australians have a chance to be a bit more commanding in their own half-back line. just driven way back downfield by Tomás O'Shea. Tomás from Bentry in County Kerry.
James Clement, the Collingwood defender. Looks forward and doesn't have a lot of options on, other than to go long. So he does. But the dipping ball is going to be hard to mark. Australia just not reading the ball at all. And Ireland, believe it or not, are dominating in the air in this game. That was a beautiful mark by Moynihan, the captain, again.
One of the best catches so far, Eddie.
Yep.
So here's a chance once more for the Irish to try and go down. The jersey was pulled back there. Kieran McManus was in an advanced position. It's going to be a free kick to Ireland. And the number 21, Craig Bradley, there, being spoken to by Scott McLaren. Scott, who's been the umpire in 2 grand finals in recent years, didn't take charge of this year's one. Brendan Gerald-Sullivan, there was a push, I think, and it's going to be an Irish free kick. Brendan Ger fancying his chances himself. Seamus Moynihan just to his left. Remember, Moynihan is playing midfield for Ireland this afternoon. Screwing that one in, and the Irish have missed a really good chance. Brendan Gerald-Sullivan should have got one.
One of the few times, though, Ger, isn't it? The Irish have been fantastic today with their kicking at the goals. Bradley for Australia takes it out to Kellaway. Kellaway goes short up the line, but it's a shocking kick again, and Australia turn it over once more, and this is where they're getting killed. The Australian disposal has just been abysmal this afternoon.
I must say, watching the Australians on Wednesday, far from being disinterested in the whole series, when they were playing Dublin and won handsomely, every time they came in from each of the quarters, they were there congratulating one another, and they had a great spirit about them. And it's a little strange today that they've been off colour. Derek Savage trying to keep it in, Craig Bradley trying to keep him out. An opportunity here for Desi Dolan, play on, the umpires decide. Matthew Scarlett tries to take command of it. And the final kick drops over there, and it's Pádraig Joyce who gets just one. That was one where he certainly should have converted by putting it over the crossbar. In a game of Gaelic football here, in a championship match at Croke Park, you would have expected him to do a little better than that. Cameron Bruce takes the mark, has the chance of this kick down, again looks for options.
It's been a hugely emotional 24 hours for all the Australians. Neitz gets it going forward quickly. Here's a chance now. Pavlich for Australia. Can hand it back to Francu. Now a chance for Brown. Brown gets the quick kick in, but it's going to be over the top for an over. A badly needed over for Australia. And Brown has responded for the Aussies.
Well, he's been their best attacker.
It's his 9th point. Another chance for Uze. Misses, bounces off the post. Ball still in play. Great tackle from Pavlich. Ireland, though, keep their feet. It's Rainbow who got the ball out, and Ireland take it away again. So Australia just missing out again on a scoring opportunity through Uze.
It's 39 points for Ireland, 23 for Australia. And Australia have it back with Craig Bradley once again, forced into the error there by Graham Geraghty.
Simpson is the handball working to Crawford, who's been quiet, the captain. Beautiful kick on this occasion. Now the Australians starting to find their range. Johnson takes the mark. So Chris Johnson is about 40 metres out from goal. He'll be kicking slightly into the breeze here. High up and under. Floats forward, it hits the post, no score. That's the second poster for Australia. Chance there now. In the back, says umpire McLaren. The Australians not happy with that at all from the Australian referee.
It was Anthony Lynch who fisted it away once it came off the post that time. But it was a 3-point score that the Australians could certainly have done with, as we're watching Dara O'Shea sally downfield. Here's a possession chance. Ireland with a goal-scoring opportunity. And they have put it behind. Amazingly, Pádraig Joyce has missed a number of really good chances. This is the most recent one. He got around his marker really well. You'd have put the housekeeping money on him scoring 6 that time. Only 1 accruing.
In the meantime, Australia again, stunned through Shane Crawford. Put it over the line out of bounds. A free kick now going the way of Ireland.
And it'll be Tomas O'Shea who will take this. Tomas, who is a teacher by profession, as the Irish prepare to bring back in Trevor Giles from Meath.
Chance for Johnson now for Australia. Couldn't run onto the ball, and Ireland again defends stoutly. Lynch, his kick high up and under, no 15 metres, so the umpire calls play on.
Canty. No, he's kicked it poorly under pressure. I mentioned Meath just moments ago there, and many of you in Ireland, of course, certainly in Australia, will think about Ron Barassi. Ron is here, his first time back in Ireland for 14 years, and he was with the Galas when they played Meath back in 1967-68.
Celebrating his 50th year in football this year, the great Ron Barassi, one of the greatest names, if not the biggest name ever in the history of the game. Here's Green. Bruce rather kicking forward for Australia, up towards Neitz, his captain at the Melbourne Football Club. Milner's in amongst it, but they hoik it out, the Irish. Chance for Bruce, goes up, spoils nicely. Uze, back to Bradley, was good football. Bradley pumps it in long. Pavlich is the man, but it's through for another behind. So Bradley gets his first score of the day.
It'll be interesting when we see the statistics eventually, how many of the attacking scores by the Australians are attacking volleys that just resulted in 1
Chance
point.
for Pavlich. Goal! Australia's got the goal they require. Matthew Pavlich, a beautiful tackle. Coming from Chris Johnson. And Australia get the goal they required to get back in this game.
It's what the game has required as well. A little bit of a misjudgment here on the part of Kieran McGeaney. He left it behind, and Pavlich came in to bury it in past Peter Burke for the first goal of this match. In this Coca-Cola International Series, the Aussies are right back in it. Third quarter. 10 between them.
So the question was put to the Australians at half-time by the coach, Gary Lyon, and the Aussies respond. It's only a 10-point margin now. 19 points at half-time, and we've been playing just 9 minutes in this third term, and the Aussies are back in it. The intensity is certainly lifted at Croke Park. Here's a chance. Ireland get it out of the centre break. The tackling's been furious from the Australians in the last 5 minutes. Here's another turnover, and Australia get the ball through Judd. He'll run all the way. He has a bounce, runs inside 45, has a flying shot at the goals, and has kicked it over. 7-point ball game. Australia back in it.
Another 3 points for the Aussies. The game is turning. It's becoming a far greater competitive game than we saw in the opening 2 quarters when the Irish simply dominated. Lynch soloing away downfield, the Irish type of solo, inside towards Desi Dolan. That'll have shaken them all up, that particular goal. The Aussies now back with hope. The Irish will feel the challenge is greater than it ever was before.
And Brad Scott's one man they don't want to be messing with in there. He's a tough man. Interesting, the interpretation of the tackle there. The Australians believe that should have been a free kick to Australia, end up being a throw ball. Australia got the ball, the numbers around the ball. Franco does the spoil nicely, off the ground he goes. It ricochets back into play, picked up by Judd. Judd gets the handball working out to Clement. Clement now over the top. Edwards is away for Australia. It's been all Australia the last 5 minutes of play. He has a bounce, takes a second. Now he gets inside 45. He thumps it long. Pavlich and Milner there for Australia. Pavlich got his hands to the ball, couldn't hold it. Good pressure by Australia. In goes Milne, slides to the ground, picks it up, does it beautifully, steps his man, kicks it forward. Johnson couldn't hold the mark, gets the handball working back. In the back, free kick Australia. Free kick to Australia, and a 19-point margin. Could be 1 point, it could be 4 points after this kick. Johnson, who has scored 1 point so far in this game, a chance to put Australia right back in it. What a comeback it'll be for the Aussies. So Chris Johnson, whose last game of football was a premiership victory at the MCG in front of 91,000 people, kicks it over for Australia, and the Aussies are right back in this game.
We've had 2 overs. We've had that magnificent goal as well, scored by Australia. And there's only 4 points separating these teams, and another 20 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Lots of action left in this match. Trevor Giles about to put this one out, using his goalkeeper, Peter Burke from Mayo. Goes long. Nicely held in there by Graham Geraghty. Geraghty prepared to run it. Getting support, needing support. It was important that McAnallen was arriving. Seamus Moynihan now trying to skip away from the challenges. Moynihan, the All-Star, Footballer of the Year a couple of years back, star of the series as well. And that's going to be a free kick to Ireland. They need 3 points from this.
4-point ball game. We've been playing 12 minutes in the third term, 20-minute quarters. Rain starting to fall here at Croke Park. Ireland leading Australia by 4 points, having led by 19 points at half-time. It's been all Australia.
It certainly has. It's their quarter.
The premiership quarter, as we like to call it, down under, and they've really lifted, but Ireland still have the ascendancy.
Joyce kicking, and Porrick Joyce lands it in the arms of the goalkeeper, Andrew Kellaway from Richmond. Richmond, who were playing in London yesterday.
To Scarlett. They've mucked around here. Great pressure from Australia. Now the Ireland team pour it on. 6-point chance. The kick there came from Kenley. It was a point. And just a little bit too cute on that occasion. Scarlett for Australia. This is desperate play. And they have to get their bodies behind the ball, the Australians, and make sure the handball goes to a target rather than just trying to flick it around. Kellaway from fullback as Ireland lead by 5 points. Brings it out to Edwards. He'll take it on the hop. Looks up. Johnson along the line. That's where he's going. His kick was an ordinary one, though. It's been intercepted by Osei. Good tackling by Australia again. But Ireland have got the numbers around the ball. A flying kick. This time it's Ireland who are off target. Australia will take the ball.
McGeaney who's missed it, because McGeaney is a centre-half back in Gaelic football. Did score in one of the internationals in the last series. Got a goal that night. Told me it was the best goal he ever scored in his life. Mind you, he also said it was the biggest fluke.
Bradley now the chance. He can go to Neitz. He does so off the ground. David Neitz, the Melbourne captain, has the ball. He kicks it high up towards the goals. Pavlich gets back. Milne's underneath it as well. No one can touch the ball. And it's an Ireland ball.
And the kick out is taken very, very quickly indeed. This is the Irish tactic of having a ball behind the goal. Once it goes that far wide, there's an opportunity then to get the game restarted. James Clement was involved in fisting that one away. Ireland coming forward. Real opportunity. Should be 3. And is. Ty Kennelly may have missed one a little while ago there, but he's now got 7 points in this match. Showing his class and his style. Tyke, who plays in Australia, goes back in 2 weeks' time, indeed, to rejoin his colleagues at Sydney Swans.
Montgomery got the ball forward. Beautiful tackle. Dropping the balls, has the umpire. And it's an Australian free kick going to David Neitz. Australia's got the advantage, not paid. It'll come back.
They were playing away, but the umpire, Scott McLaren, watch this again, please, if you will. And the next bit of action will be possession for Ireland.
So David Neitz will come back off the bench here. Darcy had made the interchange, but Neitz will have to come on to take his kick. So Neitz has the ball right on the 45 for Australia. Ireland leading by 8 points. It's a high up and under. Up comes Pavlich. Couldn't hold it. Oh, it's a mark! Johnson's done it again. Chris Johnson, the boy from Broadmeadows, now playing for the Brisbane Lions, will line up dead in front.
That was a brilliant mark. Lovely catch.
8-point ball game at the moment, as you can see, ticking up to the 16-minute mark. Vital kick for Chris Johnson of Australia to make the difference. Just 5 points. Comes in, 3 points needed. 3 points is there for Australia, and Johnson has been sensational this quarter. He has scored 7 points for the quarter.
Yes, the best phase of the game so far from an Australian point of view. Ireland having dominated the opening 2 quarters. Each quarter consisting of 20 minutes, in case you've come in late to join us here at Croke Park in this opening Test International Series.
Simpson for Australia, intercepts, does it beautifully. Over to Leckers, back to Simpson. They've got the numbers again around the ball, Australia. Tapping along the boundary line. Simpson now, handball's on. Judge there, but it was an ordinary handball. Oh, that's a forearm job, free kick. Edwards will get the free kick and it'll be on here. That was an elbow to the jaw, no doubt about that. Cameron Lee in amongst it as well. McManus for Ireland in there. Australia's got the ball. They play on straight away. It comes out to Bickley through the middle of the ground. Things starting to hot up now here at Croke Park as Bickley kicks forward. Up they go. Darcy couldn't hold the ball. He got one in the back. Umpires painted Australia's way. And Luke Darcy will take the kick. He's about 35 metres out directly in front. 5-point margin here in this game. Australia had thrown everything at Ireland in the last 17 minutes of play. As we tick up to the 17.5-minute mark of this quarter.
That's Eamon O'Hara there, who was involved in that incident a little while ago. Meanwhile, the Australians have their chance now to get another 3 points. Luke Darcy, the big man from Western Bulldogs.
Has had a fantastic season, Luke Darcy, in 2002. Won most of the media awards. Runner-up in his club best and fairest. In he comes. Very important kick. He's got onto this one. Quiet crowd from behind signifies 1 point.
Should have made it 3. It was a golden opportunity from a reasonable distance away, but the Australians have it back again. The Irish surrendering possession, and this time it has gone over.
Matthew Pavlich, who scored the goal, has now got 13 points on this board, on the board. He has been sensational. 9 points for the quarter. Australia coming right back. The pressure is starting to tell on the Irish. 1 point the difference. Ireland 44, Australia 43. A minute and a half left in this third quarter. Well, at half-time, Jared, there's no doubt that all of Ireland thought, well, maybe if Australia could get a few points, it might make it interesting. It's more than interesting now, pal.
It's ripping along beautifully for the fourth quarter. Just a minute or so away.
Australia a chance to go in, leading at three-quarter time. Who would have thought? What a turnaround in this game. Pavlich is the man again. He gets to the front, punched away. Ireland, though, have got the numbers front and square. It's picked up by McManus.
Kieran McManus motoring ahead, using the support play there of Joe Bergen.
Oh, off the ball. Bit of happening as well. I'll watch the fight. You call the game.
Cormac McAnallen will hit this one. They're still having a little altercation over there, nothing very much. And it's all ended peacefully.
Inside the last minute.
Yep. McAnallen inside towards Porrick Joyce. He's had Matthew Scarlett breathing down his neck for most of the match. This is a fair distance out. Will he opt to try and belt it over? Breezes against him. Going short, wisely so, to Trevor Giles. Beautifully inside, but it's missed and mishandled by Ty Kennelly.
Brown for Australia, but Ireland have got the numbers back again. 15 seconds left in the quarter. It's Ireland by a point.
Trevor Giles to hit it. Still possibilities as that is belted in by McGeaney, and it just spills away for 1 point. Points scored by Ty Kennelly, 8 points in all in the match for him. Oh, we're at the end of three-quarter time. Ireland by just 2 points. It's Ireland 45, Australia 43.
Welcome back to the International Rules Series. First test played at Croke Park, where we have Ireland. No goals, 12 overs, 9 behinds, 45. Just 2 points ahead of Australia, who scored the first goal of the match in the third quarter and 10 overs. And, well, they really closed the gap from 19 down into 2 in the third quarter.
Just applied pressure like that tackle there, forcing the turnover, a few rundowns, and Pavlich goals. Now, Pavlich and Johnson, the two sparks up forward, but to net a goal, the only goal of the game, as you mentioned there so far, Dermot, as we take a look at it from a different angle, and it was brought about by the Chris Johnson pressure.
Absolutely. Well, they had a 17-point turnaround in the third quarter. It was basically brought about by their pressure through the midfield as well. They made a few positional changes, but they really shut them down in the midfield. As I said, a 17-point turnaround there. They're 2 points adrift at the moment. Can they shut it down even further? Let's go back to Jer Canning and Eddie Maguire.
So welcome back, Australia, to Croke Park. Hope you're enjoying the match. You certainly will have enjoyed that third quarter. A much more aggressive, cohesive look about the Australian teams. And just 2 points between them. It's 45 for Ireland, 43 for Australia. The siren at the start of the fourth quarter should be most interesting.
Australia get the first possession through Bradley. A thumping kick up forward. Uze's underneath it, goes high, couldn't hold the mark, it spills to Brown. Brown has a flying shot, and Australia's hit the front for the first time today. 3 points Australia, 46 plays 45, and the Aussies hit the front inside the first 20 seconds of the final quarter.
It really is putting the challenge now up to the Irish. They've trained hard for this. They've been well prepared, disciplined in their approach.
Darcy, 3 points!
The Australians have been magnificent since half-time.
So Luke Darcy and Nathan Brown, teammates of the Western Bulldogs, combine, and Australia now lead by 4 points. What a start to the final term. Inside the first 40 seconds, Australia 6 points on the board, and they go to the front.
Peter Burke opting to go with his kick towards the right-hand side, but it's a horrible kick. No way in the world of Ireland able to contain that.
Darcy kicks it in quickly for Australia. Milne from behind couldn't hold the mark.
And the Irish take it back once again, but having to build from a deep position, hoping to hold possession here. Lynch kicking ahead, well directed, but then miscued and won back by Brett Montgomery.
Ball comes out wide now to Uze. Simpson on the overlap, but Uze goes forward. Have a look at this. They've got it again. Johnson.
Chris Johnson is proving himself to be quite an attacker here.
Oof, just taken there by Giles. And Ireland away out of defence.
Trevor Giles, who has played most of his football at inter-county level at centre-half forward, but this time it's David Knights.
Knights has kicked forward. Oh, Brown, almost the miraculous mark. It's bounced off him. And I think this will be an Australian ball. Let's have a listen. 45. A 45 Australian ball.
So 45 awarded because the defending player played it back out over his own end line. Watch this again. Trevor Giles was there. Nathan Brown, the blonde player. And it spilled away in the end. Ireland get it back. Darragh O'Shea towards his fellow Kerry man, Seamus Moynihan. But look how the Australians are pressurising in every position on the field. It's real man-to-man stuff.
Lekas and Uze combine. Lekas will have another go here. No 15, says the umpire, says play on. Uze's little toe poke forward. Chance now coming up for McGeeney of Ireland. He does so, does it well. Now Ireland have got numbers on the overlap. Here they go.
Kieran McGeeney being roared on by the 44,000 people at Croke Park in Dublin. For wasted possession, Andrew Kellaway has enough time to just take command of it and place it, but he places it horribly badly. Good kick in. That's gone over. And it's kicked there by Brendan Jarrett O'Sullivan.
It's coming back.
They're being instructed to kick the ball away because Andrew Kellaway wants to take his kick out from the Australian goal area. Normally plays as a half-back with his team or a flank player.
Out wide to Crawford now, the Australian captain who falls over, has to concede ground back to Kellaway. Kellaway holds it up nicely, flicks it back to Crawford. Beautiful running player, the Hawthorn skipper, captaining his country this afternoon. What an emotional day it is for all Australians as well, as Nate slips for the Aussies. Gets it over to Simpson. Beautiful handball to Crawford, who kept running. It sits nicely for him. He'll be run down from behind, though. Beautiful tackle coming from Kenley, but it's still a chance for Australia. Uze was there. He was grabbed. And it's going to come back. It's going to come back.
Interesting there that you could see the experience that Ty Kennelly has developed in the Australian game. He looked so proficient with that tackle.
So a big kick coming up for the Melbourne star, Adam Uze. Australia leading by 1 point, 49 plays 48, ticking up to the 5-minute mark of this final quarter. Uze has scored 1 over so far in this game. You can be the umpire yourself here as Uze comes in. Scott McLaren sends the second man on the mark away. Uze's kick, it's high, and 3 points to Australia. The Aussies lead by 4.
Whatever about their form in the opening 2 quarters of 20 minutes each, they have certainly been a revelation from the beginning of the second half of the game effectively. And they're kicking the ball well, they're showing greater accuracy. But this time it's Ireland who get a chance to break forward here with McGeaney. Brendan O'Sullivan inside towards Corrick Joyce. Joyce with Ireland needing a score here. Badly needing a goal, but they have to be content with just 1 by Joe Bergen.
It's his second behind for Bergen.
Really, that should have been 6, not 1, because Ireland should be a lot more proficient in this front of goal situation. That was a bad miss.
Good kick out to Scott. Hard man of the Brisbane Lions side. He has a bounce and says, I'll take you all on. Back he goes to Simpson, whose kick was an ordinary one. He's turned it over. Gerard Sullivan kicks forward. Bradley for Australia there, gets a fist on the ball. It'll be an Ireland 45.
He just got there ahead of Graham Geraghty. Graham playing in a full forward position for Ireland. So 45 is going to result. I must say there are more 45s in this particular international than I can recall in many of the internationals, and this series began back in 1984. 3 each so far, I'm told. This is it. Corey Joyce can take the 45 from the hands, and he's going to go well behind the 45-metre line. Trying to make an angle for himself, and that has gone away to the left, and it's a very poor miss. Corey Joyce from Galway.
And Joyce has had two overs for the day and 3 behind, so he's certainly been spraying his kicks, and that one missed the target altogether. So it's Australia leading by 3 points, and we've been going now for 7 minutes in the final term. Brad Scott for Australia thumps it long, looking for Pavlich again. Pavlich! What a mark! Matthew Pavlich has taken an absolute screamer, as we like to say in Australia. He has kicked a goal, 2 overs and 1 behind, and watch this one coming in. Beautiful mark by the Fremantle Docker. This is a huge kick for Australia, leading by 3 points. Matthew Pavlich, named for the first time in the All-Australian team this year. He comes in. The kick is on its way, and he has scored another over for Australia. Or is it? No, it's a point.
It's a point. It's a behind for Pavlich. But that was a terrific take. Close to the end line there, ahead of Graham Canty.
4 points, Australia leads Ireland. We've been playing 8 minutes in this final term.
Peter Burke's kick straight down the centre, beyond Seamus Moynihan this time, and the Aussies there in numbers, and they win it back.
Bickley kicks up towards half forward. Little nudge was there from Kerr. The free kick will go to McAnellen.
Well, he decides to leave it there, but he may have to take it. Yes, he leaves it, but he's going to get the kick in any case, ahead of Daniel Kerr that time. Brendan O'Sullivan pushing it towards the sideline. Darragh O'Shea and O'Sullivan unable to combine as accurately as they would wish, and the possession is back with the Aussies.
Lekis.
Thanks, Mike.
Angelo Lekis. Hawthorn Star kicks forward, up towards Judd, who gets to the front, takes the mark. No, umpire says play on. It spills out to Brown. Brown knocks it forward beautifully. Out to Crawford. Crawford goes off the carpet. It was a bad kick, though. Uze leads the race, but it'll be an Ireland ball.
Adam Uze unable to keep that one in. The crowd have enjoyed it. And lots of Aussie support here. It's great to see. The atmosphere building up, of course. The second test comes your way, same time next Sunday.
Great
Pass
play.
out of defence.
Simpson for Australia does it beautifully, has Pavlich on, and Pavlich accepts the mark. Matthew Pavlich. Bradley runs down with support. The Australians through Pavlich now, comes in. It's just hit the post and stayed in play. Another chance for Australia here. Judd had it, then lost it. Goes again. Judd being held, knocks the ball forward. Off the ground it goes. Johnson now for Australia. Didn't have it. Free kick Australia. Free kick against Geraghty.
Last player there was Kieran McManus, involved in that little incident which results in Australia having their free kick. They can bring it out now onto the 20-metre line. And here's a chance for Chris Johnson.
He scored 2 overs and 1 point. He drops it to the front of the square looking for Brown. Here's a chance for 6 points for Australia. Daniel Kerr gets it! Second goal, Australia! Kerr scores!
Daniel Kerr from West Coast gets Australia's second goal of the match in a series where the Irish coaching team were saying it was imperative that they get the goals. Each goal counts for 6 points in this match, and that was a right belter by Kerr. And Peter Burke of Mayo and Ireland is beaten for the second time. This game has turned around. Australia lead by 10 points. We're midway, and a little over midway through the fourth quarter.
30 points to 11 since half-time, Australia's way. It's Ireland now up against the ropes, and Australia apply the grip. In goes Crawford with another ball to Pavlich. Oh, he's too tall, too strong and too good. And Matthew Pavlich, the young superstar from the Fremantle Dockers, originally from South Australia, is lining up. 14 points he has scored in this game, including a goal, 2 overs and 2 behinds. And Matthew Pavlich, well, at half-time, there's no doubt the Irish crowd were laughing at the Australians. And in comes Pavlich and kicks another over. Australia now by 13 points and going away.
The Irish game has disintegrated since half-time. At half-time, they were leading by double scores, 38 points to 19. And now you see the situation. I think it's imperative that Ireland are going to lose this game, and it's looking likely at this stage because of the ferocious hunger of the Australian players. They've got to keep it as tight as possible with the second test still to come. Decent ball down. Aussies once again here with Brett Montgomery. It turns around, however, to Seamus Moynihan. Kicking it forward into space, runs on, a bit of pushing. Joyce has a chance. They need a goal here, and they manage it. Desi Dolan gets Ireland's first goal of the match. A vital time, 12.5 minutes into the fourth quarter. It's tight again. It's 62 to 55. Joyce and Desi Dolan combining Ireland's first goal. Badly needed. Here was Joyce bearing in once again. Selflessly gave it to Desi Dolan, who tapped it into the empty net.
So 17 to 43 it was at half-time, and Ireland get to their feet. Off the ground goes Crawford for Australia. Up they go, Kerr high. The Australians are all calling for the ball. There's a punch on behind play. Bradley's got it for Australia at half-back. Holds the ball up. The intensity's lifted, and Crawford, the Australian captain, is led from the front. Bickley's kick is a shocker. It's off the side of the boot over the line. It's an Ireland ball. We've been playing 13.5 minutes into a 20-minute final quarter. Australia 62, Ireland 55. 7-point margin in favour of Australia, but Ireland are not done yet.
Cormac McAnallen there and Brett Montgomery shaping up to one another. It'll be Ireland's possession. Nearly 14 minutes are gone in the final quarter. 6 minutes to go. Ireland trailing at this stage by 62 to 55. Only 7 in it. Ireland coming again.
Oh, behind play! The Australian player's being dropped.
An Australian player on the deck.
Montgomery,
yes. There's so much happening in this match. So much incident. Ireland getting another 3. Ty Kennelly coming through there, doing what he does best. It's narrowed the gap to just 4 points. And Aussie is attacking.
Australia's got the ball through Chris Judd. A high kick, looking for Pavlich again. He's being held off the ball. Comes to ground. Uze! Save! Magnificent save there by Burke, and Ireland have got the rebound.
It was a terrific stop by Peter Burke there from Adam Uze. And Ireland come again. It's a thriller.
They kick forward, but Australia have got them. Looking for the Shepherd. Scarlett's got it. Scarlett gives the handball up. Now he's holding it. Mucking around Montgomery. Back to Scarlett. Back to now to James Clement. Gives it a big kick forward, but the mark's going to be taken back here for Ireland.
5 minutes to go. Lynch with the kick into the centre there towards Kieran McGeeney. Only one man forward, however, for Ireland, and it's a misplaced pass. And possession going hopelessly away. No chance that Desi Dolan was able to do that. This is the save by Burke. It was magnificent, it was athletic, and it was super.
This is Craig Bradley, oldest man on the park, and it's an ordinary kick out to Kellaway, whose kick was off the side of the boot. Punishment coming up for Australia. It could be a 6 for Ireland.
It certainly could. Here's an opportunity. They're calling for it. Desi Dolan was waiting to come his way. It didn't indeed. And it's Bradley who got it away.
Bradley, who made the mistake in the first place, fixes up his own mess. Montgomery gets it out to the Australian captain, Shane Crawford. Back to Montgomery. Australia now not content to just bomb it in. They want to find a player. They go up the line looking for Pavlich. It spills now to Crawford. Back to Pavlich. Pavlich looks up, has plenty of Australians in the front of the square, and Brown's one of them. He takes the mark. Brown's taken the mark for Australia. We have been playing 16.25 minutes in the final term. It's Australia by 4 points. And Nathan Brown, who has been one of the superstars of this game, has kicked 4 overs so far for 12 points. Has got the chance to give Australia a bit of breathing space.
The mobility of the Australian players is quite amazing. They will drift in from midfield and half forward into the scoring situations almost at will, with great athleticism and wonderful energy. There were about 5 or 6 players queuing up for that one, but it's Brown who will kick it.
Time ticking away, Australia milking the clock. And over here will make Ireland have to score at least twice to win the game. So a huge kick coming up for 24-year-old Nathan Brown from the Western Bulldogs in Victoria. Lining up, Australia lead by 4 points. The kick's on its way, and Brown has kicked it over. 3 points for Australia. That's his 5th over for the game, and Australia lead by 7.
It's a vital score. Now Ireland needs something at the other end very, very quickly. Desi Dolan leaving it behind here, so the free can be taken. But it's so essential to take back that lead. 65-58 at this stage. Seamus Moynihan taking it well. Good mark. Trevor Giles is to his left, just out of picture. They go long, but it's taken well in there by Daniel Kerr. And Kerr is going to have this next kick for Australia.
Has had a very big last quarter. Kerr scored the goal that gave the Aussies the breathing space they required. They'll start running down the clock now, Australia, you'd feel. We've got 2 minutes left to play, and Australia lead by 7 points. Ireland need to score at least twice. Gets the hurry up. It's a half volley to Bradley. Bit of mucking around to Clement. They've got numbers out wide, Australia. They do it beautifully to Edwards.
Well, that 44,221 came in today to enjoy this game. I continue to be, I'm sure, a bigger crowd next Sunday.
Oh, it's going to be a beauty. This has had everything. What a comeback by Australia. Some hard physical play as well. And in the end, I think Australia's absolute physical pressure from half-time onwards has won the day for the Aussies.
But running down the clock, as you say, and it's frustrating for Ireland. Only about a minute and a half to go.
This will be a memorable win for Australia on a day that will be forever etched for the wrong reasons in the national psyche of the country down under. But the boys have come out to play today. Ireland have got the ball, though. Away goes Moynihan.
Towards Corrick Joyce. Ball bounces away awkwardly. Matthew Scarlett is back there for Australia. And there's no way that Joyce can get a sniff of the action.
So Scarlett will take the free kick inside the last minute. This is going to be a magnificent victory for Australia, who trailed 38-19 at half-time trailed 45 to 43 at three-quarter time, and with 55 seconds on the clock, it's Australia by 7 points. Scarlett has the ball for Australia. He comes in, he kicks it up the line. Plenty of Aussie numbers there. Hard at the ball again. Off the ground goes Kerr. It's going to spill for Australia. Away they go. Australia got the numbers in the middle. It's Croke, but he gets the handball inside. Here's Anthems. Last chance for an Aussie score. Pavlich is there. One hand couldn't take it. Gets up again. Fends off his opponent. The kick smothered. It goes to Judd. Judd for 6 points. Goal! Yes! No! Brown couldn't see it. Is it there? It's like a rugby scrum. It's still in play. What a finish to this game. Siren's gone. Australia has won 65 to 58 in one of the greatest comebacks in international rules ever seen. Look at the scenes. Australia came into this game with such pressure on it because of what had happened on the other side of the world. Everyone's heart was breaking from the massacre in Dili, and the Australian boys really wanted to do something for their country, and they have certainly done that this afternoon. Joe, what a comeback. The Irish boys were magnificent in the first half, but this is a great day for Australian sport.
It certainly is that. There are 7 between them. Had that goal gone in at the very end there, my goodness, it would have been a very difficult assignment for Ireland facing into the second test in the Coca-Cola series 7 days from now, again here at Croke Park. And the Australians can go and they can celebrate. And how will they celebrate? You can be sure they'll be thrilled. They didn't play well for the opening 2 quarters, but now it's all for one for all. It's Aussie's day.
And Australia singing the national anthem. You saw the boys before the game, Ger, far more circumspect, obviously. There has been a huge outpouring of emotion this morning as word was filtering through. So many of everybody here, including myself, have friends who've been injured in Dili. We're still waiting to find out. And of course, so many Australian people tonight sitting there in their lounge rooms waiting for news through from Dili on loved ones, watching this game, hopefully seeing some of the great Australian spirit that will buoy us through this terrible time that we're going through at the moment. And full marks to Gary Lyon, who really lifted his team. As you can see, some tears there from the Australian people. High emotion here, there's no doubt about it. I'm absolutely full of emotion here myself. We came in today and I must admit at the hotel we could only look and talk and find out about what was happening back home, and our hearts were breaking that we weren't there. Not that you can do much back at home, but in times like this you want to be with your family. And these boys have bonded together, there's no doubt about it. And at half-time they lifted, they came out, they applied the pressure, and they have pulled off a memorable win on a day that Australia needed some joy. And well done to them. It does not, of course, take away any of the huge pain that all Australians are feeling, but it does something for the national side, there's no doubt about it. Well done to the young Australians.
Yes, it was a really emotional day for all in Australia, and our hearts go out to all of these people. But right now, it's the pride of Australia down there, some of their top footballers, and very shortly I hope we'll be getting some comment from them. It's the Australians who have won the opening match, 65 to 58, but only 7 in it. That's a goal and 1 behind.